Baby beard!
Alright, I'm a delivery boy!
Who is Hermes planning on killing?
I think we should let the orphans run free.
You've redeemed funds.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't.
He's just an old guy.
Can we talk about evil Lincoln?
Oh, of course.
Oh, this art needs to be sent. That's not the voice at all.
That's lobster-tainment. Let's make it the Christmas. Let me ask you this. He was just about to agree with you.
Hey there. Would you care to shut up and take a little bit of my podcast tonight?
His pool game ran long at the Jazz Club.
I think I'll pass, actually, Sean.
What's that?
I'll pass.
You'll pass?
Yeah.
Of all the intros we've done today, that was the second.
It was a time. It was a time.
It happened.
It happened.
Welcome everybody to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, that Futurama podcast, where we forget what our intro is.
It's episode against episode in bloody, glorious gauntlet combat.
battle.
I would say
your-
battle.
Is it battle?
Yeah.
Yes, battle.
For your
entertainment.
It's like a sing-along. We've got a catchphrase going on. Also, the longest catchphrase in existence.
And also, none of us remembered what it was.
No, we all remembered it, but we
Different
paraphrased.
pieces. Yeah,
Memory
in
is
pieces.
subjective.
Yeah, exactly. You
You do
think-
60 of these.
Yeah, you thought that you heard us say different words. You didn't. We all said the same words.
That's right.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'm gaslighting the audience.
Going. So welcome everybody, and I am joined here by Sir Phil,
Greetings, gentle jerkwads.
Ooh, I like that one.
by Lord Josh,
I'm giving off 40 megafonzies of cool over here. And...
Sean.
I'm going to have to bow out of this podcast. I have a bit of explosive amnesia.
Ooh, nice. So, did you think that I was going to do the megafonzies quote, or...?
No, I had a few different ones
Oh,
I've
cool.
just kind of put over here, so I had a plethora to choose
I'm
from.
glad that I, caught you off guard then.
Yep, I also caught you off guard with... The Lord kind of tickled you a bit.
Yeah, well, anytime I get called Lord, I'm immediately like, "Ugh."
Ooh.
It means that I'm one... And also, we've got Sir Phil, Lord Josh, and Sean.
And Sean.
Just Sean.
Yeah.
Also, we're joined by Monitor, who is sitting on the desk today.
Yeah, we actually... We now that we don't have my crappy little laptop, which was incessantly making a noise...
What? No.
Constantly. It's now, by the way, the laptop that has hosted this podcast for the past 60-odd episodes has finally died.
Yeah.
Sent it off in a Viking funeral.
It's upside down on my desk.
On fire.
It went the way of Calculon Jr.
You mean...
Antonio.
Antonio
Calculon Jr.
Jr.
So now we have a massive monitor screen that we can actually look and
See what's happening.
see our lovely waveforms.
And you. We can see you, audience.
You look lovely
Hello.
today. You don't.
I was going to say, don't be creepy.
No, it's a compliment, friend.
Therefore, it cannot be creepy.
Therefore, it
I
is
think we've
unable,
just found the problem with toxic masculine.
unable.
Yeah.
You will accept the compliment because it's in good faith. Season 4, episode 6. Bender should not be allowed on television. Where does that come from?
Is it some sort of fourth dimensional quoting themselves because it happens in the episode?
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
if you're,
I don't feel like it's a reference or anything.
No.
You don't
Or
feel,
is it?
You don't feel like it?
This is the new game today. Bye, Phil.
So while Phil is left, we'll talk about the director of the episode, which is Brian Sheasley, who's back from Love and Rocket.
Oh, yeah.
And we have Lewis Morton, the writer, back from Anthology of Interest 2.
Oh.
It's a bit different, yeah. A bit different style of episode.
And this is actually, this is both their ninth episodes, and it is their third collaboration together from Mother's Day, our current season 2 winner.
That's a good one.
And
It's going to be the permanent season 2 winner.
yeah,
It's not going to change.
a current until they make more season 2
Yeah, I was
episodes
about
and
to say,
insert it.
I'm still going to fight for poplars every chance I get.
And also they collaborated on Amazon Women in the Mood, the slightly more problematic.
Yeah, which is still a funny episode.
Yeah.
Because women.
Because women.
Because women.
And B. Arthur.
B. Arthur's a gem.
Yeah, I think was...
Oh. Yeah, I know.
Moving on.
Very
Only
down
one-
this episode.
Only one Golden Girl episode.
Episode is still alive? Yeah,
still
it lives
alive?
on in the heart. Yeah.
Lives on in my memory.
Anyway.
Air date August 3rd, 2003. Introducing Antonio, I guess. Is that the first time we've seen the son of
Antonio?
Calculon?
the Execubots,
Alpha,
Beta, Gamma, and the head,
the president,
the
president, voiced by Billy West.
Yeah,
the director of all my circuits,
whose name I can't remember.
You're angry.
Who's the co-star? Who's the lady bot?
Monique.
Monique.
And,
she's been there for a while.
She's probably been in previous episodes that feature all my circuits,
Quite a few.
right?
And what's the other? He's like the backing up robot.
Is
Is he objecting or just backing up? I think both.
Yeah. Isn't that Calculon's evil twin as well?
Yeah, it is.
But like now because in true soap opera style he has 7 identical septuplets.
Sextuplets.
And which one is it? Sleazy something is his.
Oh, it's a
But
good
we're
name,
getting-
isn't it?
yeah.
It's like Sleazy Fontaine or something.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, we are.
Because we need to run down the entire episode. Phil.
So this is the story of how Bender gets on TV in all my circuits and becomes a bad influence to children everywhere and manages to protest himself off the air.
Yeah.
So
He continues to be a bad influence. Now he's just on a worldwide forum
Yeah.
to show that he's
Yes,
a bad
yeah,
influence.
he reaches more people.
Yes, absolutely.
And we know the next catchphrase of the show. All together now. Guys,
Fight.
what do we think?
Oh.
Fucking hell. Come on.
I thought you meant the Futurama show.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
us.
No.
And you should have seen from our, like, what am I gonna say?
You gotta do it.
Let's do it again all at the same time. Okay.
Guys, what
Hit
do we
episode and episode again.
This is such a shambles.
I love it. Yeah,
Yep.
this episode is fun, but that is it.
I think it has a very. I didn't touch on the side plot that much, which is the reason that Bender ends up protesting himself is because he's such a bad influence on the
Cuba.
Planet Express kids, Cuba and the other one,
Dwight. And Tinny Tim, the new
Tinny
addition
Tim.
to the
the only other friend.
Yeah.
that they end up stealing his stuff, and I just think that part of the plot is not great. I don't like those characters. They're
Yeah.
not a great source of humor.
I think that
They're very two-dimensional
They were
characters.
created to be annoying.
Yeah.
They were created to
Yeah.
you're not meant to kind of empathize with them at all.
However, last time we saw Cuba and Dwight, I was like, how do we make this episode good without Cuba and Dwight? And it was just like we worked out, remove Cuba.
Yeah.
I think the addition of Tinny Tim made me like them more, only because Tinny Tim was good in this episode.
Oh, Tinny Tim's great.
Tim's
Exactly.
good value.
And Dwight, I never really had a problem with Dwight. Cubit, I do have a problem with, but he was less Cubit in this episode.
I like knowing that their initial purpose that they're going to use Cubit for is that whenever he became annoying, the characters would punch him.
Yeah.
And then they realize maybe we shouldn't just be
Bit
punching a
problematic.
12-year-old.
But Simpsons chokes a 10-year-old like for years before then and still continued to around the same time that Futurama was going.
I've just I noticed it a few times, and I've it just because it's happened every time. Do you realize that you say Simpsons with an M?
Simpsons.
You just,
Simpsons.
you say Simps. It's hard
Simpsons.
to do.
The
Simpsons.
Simpsons,
You
yeah.
go Simpsons.
That's how it's spelt.
No, you put an M on the end.
No, you
he's
put an M
saying
on the end.
I don't put an M on the end.
You do.
It's Simpsons.
the shambles.
Now you're
continues.
doing it, but
I said Simpsons.
I'll play it back to you. I'll play
Oh
it
god
back
damn
to
it!
you.
Anyway, back to Simpsons discussion. The point.
What is the point?
Fuck Cubit. Yeah,
Sure. Screw him.
I think that's one thing we've learned is TV is frying our brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their function in this episode is to be losers, right? And
Yeah.
and to also be unduly influenced by TV in a one-dimensional way. There's not a lot going on with them other than plot functionality.
Yeah. They are
And that makes them feel a bit cardboardy and arbitrary. And they kind of make a joke out of that about how easily influenced they are and how impressionable they are. And they sort of self-reference it. But it still doesn't make it entertaining.
yeah.
So the season 1 episode, When Aliens Attack, that's our season 1 winner currently. And
Until they make more season 1 episodes.
exactly. And that's an episode about television as well, but it's done smartly. It's actually one of my favorite episodes. It doesn't feel ham-fisted. It doesn't feel lazy. And it's not overly kind of self-referential, patting themselves on the back, being like, see, this is what we're commenting on. It's just...
I mean, having said that, the stuff about TV and how it works in this is the best material. I really like the opening about the like All My Circuits montage with the ridiculous plot lines and the constant amnesia. That is all spot on for American soaps. It's really
soaps
funny.
in general, that's a soap opera. Just
Yeah,
full stop.
yeah.
When I was living with my brother, his fiance, now his wife, was a massive fan and still is of The Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
And because I was living there at the time and I was constantly in that front room, I got into the show.
Oh man,
It's awful, but it's so addictive.
Oh, I bet,
yeah.
because there's always another twist and turn to come.
And you just I came back 2 years later, just as I was at a dinner, and it was on, and I went, those two are still going at it, like about the same things. And
course.
it's 2 years worth of storyline.
you think that's good? I was really sick for like a couple of weeks from school, so I was home. I got into Passions. Which,
Oh, that's the supernatural one.
yeah, there's a witch with a doll who comes to life, and it's a small actor playing them, and this girl's trying to win over this guy, and there's like blood packs, and I'm like, sign me up.
It makes All My Circuits look pretty tame,
Yeah.
right? The reality is often weirder.
By the way, we touch on passions quite extensively in a future episode of Imaginauts, so
Ooh.
check that out.
Oh,
when
yeah,
that
that's
one
true.
comes
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Seems somewhat
We went through
passionate.
the storylines, and it's just like, what
I love Passions.
is going on?
And keep an ear out for the Reba episode that's going to be coming up very soon.
There's also the stuff with the executives about how they run the TV show. Where they underestimate Middle America.
Yeah.
They roll a dice to figure out the full
More
schedule.
reality
of
shows.
And
Game shows are back.
and Alpha programmed to like what they like before.
I've already
like,
seen
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
hey. And it's like, yeah, that's really appropriate.
Yeah, that's how TV seems to work, right?
Yeah.
And now movies too.
Yeah. I think, like, going back to what you said about season 1, like that being a smart episode about television, this one, I think, is poking fun at the argument that TV is a bad influence. And it feels, and I'm looking at it from like a gaze of now people being like, video games are bad and they're corrupting people. And it's like, that's just a really dumb argument. And even seeing in this, they make more light of the argument that it's like, oh yeah, this is like terrible. And even to the same degree with Bender, like, hey kids, try this at home, setting himself on fire, and it says, don't try this at home. And it's like, yeah, you have to be stupid to even consider that.
But he's edgy, and I like that
Yeah.
point. It's like often people will put stuff on the screen
Yeah.
because it's edgy and different.
Because it creates a response.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's
right.
even a in an interjecting Futurama PSA that happens in there as well, when Dwight's like, it's like, hey, and TV taught us how to, and it's like, you're watching Futurama, the TV show that doesn't condone the cool crime of theft, and it's just like,
Which is like the
Yeah.
first kind of fourth wall break that Futurama's done, pretty much, I think.
yeah,
Like out and out.
Out-
fourth wall.
yeah.
They have a few sly ones, like
Yeah.
executives, just a title that makes people feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the executive producer comes up on screen.
There was-
That's a fourth wall break, but it's not as outrageous.
There was another one in this episode as well, when they put on Everybody Loves Hypnotoad, and Fry's like, this show's been going down since season 3, and it's
yeah.
like, okay, nice, I see what you're doing there. There was also, what was it? There's a weird thing in this world. So TV shows are live or recorded when
yeah,
they want to be.
it's so weird. I wrote that down.
I wrote
yeah.
it down and then I figured it out because there's enough clues. What they do is that it's not live.
Yeah.
But what it is whatever they shoot, because of Calculon's contract,
Yeah.
is basically we can't reshoot.
Yeah.
So whatever we do just goes on regardless.
But I guess, but they also have when Calculon Junior breaks down,
Yeah.
they have to like they have to cut away to
Yeah.
a different show.
Yeah.
If it was pre-recorded, they could still cut it together into a continuous TV episode. They don't have to like go
Yeah.
broken actor. Now we'll go to a different
That's-
show.
that's
It
why-
is live and not live at the same time.
It's almost like it's pre-recorded, but they've aired it like as in
real time.
We just hit play and we can't stop it until it's done.
There's even an editing room. Like
Yeah.
they go and edit the episode.
Yeah.
And cut things, and he even says things like, "Oh, we'll splice in some reaction shots."
Yeah.
He's like, splice in some shots of me and then send it off.
Yeah,
Even, like,
it's so weird.
A simple thing there. The set is like a complete set or showing lights and exposed walls depending on what they want. So there's like moments like when Calculon Jr. is about to reveal the dark secret, and you can clearly see the wall and you can clearly see the roof.
He comes from at least a considerable height.
And then when he breaks down, it's like a close-up shot on him, and then it transitions to this set now being open. And it's like, okay, so...
How?
I have a bigger problem in this episode. I mean, this is a fun episode. I think the animation is on point for the entirety of this episode. Every little bit of animation. Lovable tramp Zoidberg, Bender coming out of the safe, Farnsworth picking up the doobie with his foot, and then Hermes putting it in his jacket. And
then the smoke. That's probably my favorite moment of the
All
whole
the
episode.
animation.
Because everyone goes, you go,
maybe...
should you have put a lit... Did he really put a lit cigarette away?
Yeah.
Oh, they've just...
Well,
right.
It's
okay.
a doobie. It's a doobie.
It's a doobie, yeah.
And even like at the beginning when you see them, like they're wrestling with some creature.
Never mentioned.
Yeah.
It's
And
never...
tiny detail even of the fork, and it's good animation. But Bender is a bending unit. There are many bending units. The idea that Bender is now popular in the world for being a character playing himself in a world where Bender units are plenty just doesn't make...
But there's no bending unit like Bender.
But Mum owns Bender. Mum owns the rights of what... like, from the creation of Bender, any rights of Bender are now owned by Mum. So is Mum profiteering off of this? And has she removed every single bending unit to make sure that Bender is the only Bender?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing as well, is that Mum actually creates the majority of robots.
Yes.
So any robot, potentially, that's on screen, the residuals may go to Mum.
Here's my explanation, right, for that.
Yeah.
Is
Cartoon.
that... Well, no, is that...
Never.
Mum's company is so big, she probably just owns the network anyway, so it's not an issue.
Yeah. I think she's just got a subsidiary for... like she's an agent. She's also an agent.
Yeah,
Well,
she runs everything, right?
This is something when we eventually get to the Futurama game. The opening, the big plot issue is that Mum buys Planet Express and now owns a majority share of the world. So she owns the world now. So she probably has a share in everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. She's like the cyberpunk global conglomerate.
Yes. Another thing. Great. It's making
It's on
fun.
a rampage.
It's making fun of child actors. That's great, and that was really
That's
good.
wonderful. We love
But
that.
why are there robot child actors?
Well, we know Bender's like 3. He's very young.
He's very young.
Super young, which means he is eligible to play that part.
Yes.
That was my issue with that. I
Yes.
went, you are eligible.
But then, okay. So in
They're
Teenage
built,
Mutant
those robots are built to be
be
children.
and soon we will see that Bender will go through regression when we get to Teenage Mutant Leela's Hurdles, even though that doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that is the continuity error I cannot wait to discuss and solve. We will solve it.
Yeah.
He turns into a disc.
Look, I think it's personally, I think it's part of the charm, and it's super intentional, right?
Yes.
That when you have like the tiger mum and the performing child,
Yes.
and she's like, no more exposed wires.
Yes.
That like putting typical human relationships into robots.
Yeah.
And it making no sense is just them having fun.
I just like this, like the robot thing of clearly because it's a human mannerism to smooth the hair down, but
Yeah.
it does nothing
It does
for a
nothing.
robot. So it's
And the
just
fact
like
that he's got a center part.
so
Like,
it's just like a tick.
Yeah.
Like that's just it feels good for me to do this. I just have to do this.
The other one that I really like just continues on. It's like, oh, there's that child star that grew up to rob a convenience store, and there's that child robot star that grew up to become a convenience store. I was like, nice.
And it's that deadpan delivery of lottery ticket, please.
Lottery ticket, please. Last episode, I teased what one of my favorite quotes from Futurama is.
Oh,
that
we
happens
told
this
you
episode.
you weren't allowed to.
Yeah. So it is when Bender is on set, and it's like, don't worry about the script. We've rewritten it to accommodate you. It's like, so now my character has a British accent. No, now your character's in a coma. Get in the bed.
All right. So when Bender's doing the Bandito's voice,
Yes.
what accent does he call it?
He's a fluent Spanish accent.
All right. What do you reckon that accent is closest to? Because for the love of God, I cannot equate it.
it's barely. It's just gibberish, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just John DiMaggio putting a ilio on the end of words and mispronouncing words. It's like,
But
It's an American accent, is what it is.
Yeah.
Is it American?
Yeah.
American with bad vocabulary
It's
issues.
deliberately doing a terrible accent
Hispanic
of
accent.
someone doing a terrible accent.
Oh, I mean, I got that
Yeah,
as the joke. I just meant if you had to equate it to an accent, what would you equate it to?
American trying to speak to someone from Mexico. Do you speak American? It had that slow.
Do you speak
Americano, Signoro,
Yes-o?
maybe-o. Parlez-vous American?
My favourite line, a lot of my favourite lines come from Calculon, actually.
Oh, Calculon was on point in this episode.
You've got Bender, he finally comes out of the coma, quotation marks, because he needs to liven up the scene.
Yeah.
So he gets up, dance, smokes. Actually got me a little bit angry because I'm like, you are so obnoxious.
Yeah.
You are really obnoxious.
Bender reaches peak obnoxicity.
Obnoxicity. And Calculon just looks at him and just goes, I'm not familiar with the kind of things I'm seeing.
Yeah. And even just like how Calculon is a slave to what the audience want.
Yeah,
Because
he's like aggressively stupid.
Yeah.
in that audition scene.
Man, if that really works, I
man.
need to try that.
Yeah, just and that even Leela and Fry just get in on it at the end. We want more Bender.
Yeah, I wrote that Fry and Leela are tremendous friends to Bender.
Yeah.
Even when Fry gets hit with a beer bottle at the beginning of the episode.
I deserved it.
Yeah, I probably deserved it. I was just like, oh, Fry. It's the first time as well that in this season I think that he's been hit by one of the other members and hasn't gone, ow. It's actually just like, ow. Like, just straight up, ow.
There's the bit where he's in Bender's apartment as well, and he's just playing video games with one hand.
Drinking and reading a comic.
All at the same time.
Hey,
yeah.
Bender.
Hey,
Bender. Hey, Bender.
Bender.
Phone rings.
Hello,
Hey,
Bender.
That animation doesn't
Great.
make any sense because they're walking towards the window.
Yeah, they are too.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, I
and
mean,
the-
that's their escape room.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, show a bloody, like,
they
blanket
just jump
going
out the
in.
window.
They land on Tinny Tim. He can take it.
I do actually want to see. I always thought about this is when you see TV shows within TV shows, like
Yes.
All My Surrogates, Hypnototem, blah blah blah. I would love them to legitimately do a spin-off of one of those shows and make it into a TV show for us.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would watch All My Circuits.
BoJack Horseman did it. BoJack Horseman has the BoJack Horseman show as a spin-off, so you can actually watch like the terrible like sitcom as well as the actual real show.
Really?
Yeah,
There was a British show.
very good.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's a cheesy soap opera, and then the companion show is the making of that cheesy soap opera.
Ah,
Hey.
So you can watch the comedy about the behind the scenes of it,
Yeah.
and also the cheesy result of
okay.
what they do. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's like on the beach or something. It's called.
Okay.
Slightly tangent away from this, but when I was at acting school, there was one of the Felix. He was talking to us about an idea that he had for a project. It's like, okay, so starts off, so it's a movie, and it starts off, and two people are talking, and then you hear cut, and then the camera pans out, but then it's a theatre play, and there's people on a stage, and then the scene keeps on going there, like backstage, and then you hear cut again, and then it pans out, and it's a film, and he does that about like 5 times. It's like a film within a theatre show within a
Have you seen
film.
Slipstream?
I have not.
It does that.
Right.
Have you seen?
First couple of you just don't know whether you're in a movie or not.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a fiction or a fiction within a fiction, and it keeps sort of going back a layer and never quite resolving. So he should watch that and sort of see how that.
I think
Probably did, just
pans
doesn't
into his
remember.
idea. Yeah. It's a very obscure film.
Birdman did a level of that as well. The idea of like the continuous shots going into the play and then being real life, and then
It's very Lynchian.
Original
Yeah.
Birdman or Attorney at Law Birdman?
Michael Keaton, Birdman, The
Oh,
Unexpected
sorry,
Virtue
I'm thinking of
Ignorance.
Harvey Birdman.
Oh no, Birdman is a great film.
I like the idea because you're a lawyer. Like that's where you get your education. It's like Attorney at Law, Harvey Birdman.
I need to get something straight. I am not actually a lawyer. I am a law graduate.
You're
It's
a
just
practicing lawyer.
It was
I'm
just
building your
fun.
credentials
I know.
up.
God damn it! Soon I'm going to be Lord Josh, personal attorney to the Queen.
In the same way, we're not actually actors. We're just graduates of an acting course.
I'm an actor.
No.
Have you been? Have you
I
been
hate to
paid,
break it to you, Sean.
Have you been paid? Have you been paid to do an acting job?
Yes.
Oh, I like a couple of dollars on a
you're-
profit share.
Then you're an actor. If you've been paid to do an acting job, you're an actor.
You're an actor.
It was more of a joke at our expense. Oh my god!
I'm building you up.
Yeah, see? We're collectively getting more positive as the episode goes on.
Back to the episode at hand, and how good Calculon is in this episode.
He is
Great
on point.
Shatner's ghost.
Yes, that's
he
a good
has
quote.
so many good lines.
Yeah,
and
and
he kind of
reactions.
holds the episode together.
He's the
I
glue
think.
that holds this Bender fest together.
Yes, he really is. And you think it would be Bender, but Bender himself isn't as charming as he normally is because he has the obnoxiousness turned up a bit too high for you to be like, yeah, let's get on board with Bender. Instead, you're on board with Calcula.
Yeah. Speaking of being on board with Bender, Bender's function of the week is that he has power sockets in his butt.
Yes, for a TV that looks like it was out of date in our time.
Yes, absolutely. Also, foresight.
Bender
Because he walks in and is like, something else is happening on TV.
Yes, that's true.
And then
then they announce it.
Yeah, so he's got foresight. He's very powerful in this episode.
which is very good at reading like script, like he can just see ahead of a time. He just knows every trope, it's like,
They're going to do an open casting call right now. Also, just the when he does the climactic speech at the end, and the climax is maybe you should sit down with your children and hit them.
Yeah.
I was a little shocked actually that was where they went with the writers of Futurama went with that as the gag. I was like, that's a little bit heavy.
That was actually them talking to themselves about going back to the plot point of beating up Cubit anytime he did something.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, the Signoid comes back, and Donbot and the big slime Jolly Rancher guy.
gelatinous.
We're an exciting new mom.
Yeah. Oh, I love that the Signoid's there. It's like, yay! He still exists!
We're going to use them for something.
His entire family is a baseball team. There's a
Yeah. Blurnsball.
Blurnsball. Oh my god! I apologize,
God damn it,
Futurama.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
The exceedingly lame joke that they lampshade that the group they form is called Fart.
Yeah.
Fathers against
Rude television. It's not about cheap laughs. You're like, you don't get away with it just by lampshading.
I think that was
still a bad joke.
I think that was fine. Like it's just like the thing of like we're making fun of ourselves. Also, Bender's delivery of the line of the episode is great. Just like the Bender should not be allowed on television. It's like
if it's got to be the title, it's gonna be the title.
yeah, immediately. Also, his monologue. I think just one last thing for me. I liked his monologue as well. Like, who do I think I am? Me forcing myself, and it's like,
Let's go and stop them from shoving
Me down your throats.
down our throats.
yeah, his angry mobs with me. It's just like it's like it was not. It's fun, but it's
And they all wait for quiet on set to go away.
down with Bender. It's like,
There's some cute jokes.
Yeah. I think overall it has some good material, but
Kind of misses the mark.
yeah.
So where do we think this stacks up against Less Than Hero?
oh no, it's got not a patch on Less
Yeah.
Than Hero. Less Than Hero is a riot.
Yeah.
So funny all the way through. And this episode, like, it's not awful. Keeps you chuckling. It's a bit forgettable, I would say.
I feel that this episode is more like a Simpsons episode, in the sense of like the child actor, like the idea. It's not a sci-fi plot. There's nothing in this that really says sci-fi.
It's more of a Futurama world plot,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's the Futurama reflection of current tropes.
Something.
Exactly. And even like to the same degree, I could see this being in really any cartoon around this time. And it's a good episode. It's funny.
Yeah, you could
it's quirky.
address the same things, right?
Yeah. I also threw in there. I said I feel, and no one.
I was because I heard both.
My eyes just hit
I
the
heard
back
both
of my head.
Phil and Simpsons, and I didn't call attention to either of them.
The Simpsons. I'm going to start saying it like that now. The Simpsons.
Samson.
The Samsons. No, this episode isn't as good. You're right. This doesn't have a patch on the other one. It's
Yeah.
fun, but it's not good enough.
No, I'm exactly the same way. It's gonna be Less Than Hero because it's my superhero jam.
No problem.
Yeah.
And we have a voice to get to.
Cool. We have like one of
The executive.
Yeah, the president, any of Alpha, Beta, or Gamma.
They have pretty boring voices, don't they?
It's funny, but will it get them off their tractors? I'm going to have to respectfully decline.
That's right.
There you
That's
go, that's
the
him.
voice, isn't it?
It's got
a very kind of.
I had to look him
It's so
up.
much fun.
I had to look him up because I did not think it was Billy West.
Yeah, it's Billy West.
yeah,
I thought in his first line he sounds a bit like Fry.
Yes.
Yeah, because once I got there, and then I heard you can hear the twinge of it. But at first, I was like, did they get someone in that just was no one?
Yeah. I don't know what we said, but a great joke is just the fact that, like, really good joke was them revealing the president and, like, the guy walks in and puts the laptop down after the creepy robots come in. I was like, this is great. This is like, clever. Nielsen
What's the
family
joke he makes?
Or just the fact that it's like the person walking in, you think that's
You
the
think that's the
president?
president?
No. What's the joke he makes and then forces all the executive boss to laugh?
We like being filthy. Filthy,
Filthy
rich,
rich,
that is. Being filthy rich, that is.
So that's the bit I'll do. Thanks for taking it.
I think you'll be... No, I think you'll be doing the scene.
Yeah.
We like filthy. Filthy rich, that is. Being filthy rich, that is.
Nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost,
Gentle jerkwads.
gentle jerkwads, if you would like to get in touch with us for any reason, if there is anything you'd like to say, questions, thoughts, criticisms, or even if you have an idea for a side mission that you'd like to see us do in the future, I think we've already... Josh posed the idea of the Futurama game.
Yeah.
As a side mission, yeah, it's a
I'm
good idea.
super excited for that. I love that game.
We need to track that down, or if we just have it on emulator, I don't know.
I mean, I own it.
Phone game, we can all get it.
I own
Oh,
it
sorry.
legitimately on the PS2, and we won't emulate it.
Ever emulate it. No.
Two?
It's a PS2 game.
I thought you meant the mobile game that came out just recently.
No, the PlayStation game.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
PlayStation
Yeah, let's
game's
do that.
I like that it sounded like you were just like, PlayStation 2? What is?
They started with 3. It was really
Did you,
avant-garde of them.
did you rob a museum?
Yeah.
Does it still work?
Yeah.
Great console, by the way.
At Baby, to finish
Oh,
that
right,
sentence.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah, if
sorry.
you want to do any of that stuff, do so at babybeardmedia. babybeardmedia@gmail.com. There we go, nailed it.
Find our social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They're all at Baby Beard Media. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed it, chuck some stars, some thumbs up, or a Egyptian calculon for his dark secret of being Egyptian out of all my circuits. I'm trying to think of a new one each time, but man, like
That made no sense.
I peaked at the Shining Shorn of approval, and I'm
Yes.
seeing that pop up, and I'm like, damn it, I made the thing.
Yeah, the one that's in the bio permanently now.
Yay.
And yeah, next week you can... By the way, we need to beep out every time I say the word now, because I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of how
think-
many times I say
I think we're going to get sick of hearing beeps then at that point.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
beep.
Yeah,
It's
did
like
it
I'm
again.
constantly sweat.
Or it's just going to be a beep. Guys, anyway.
You could have done, leave us your shocking daytime TV twist
Yeah, but
in the comments.
but we all know what they are. They've all been done. They've all been done.
Join us next week for a very special episode. Some might say the most special of all time.
just thinking about it.
It's Spanish Fry.
No, it's not. It's Jurassic Park.
Oh, Jurassic Park!
Is it Jurassic Park? Hey!
I have this sneaking suspicion. I feel like Ellen might not be sick next week.
Yeah, she might just reappear.
Yeah,
from
I
the
feel
ether.
like that's going to be a case with her. She's I think that she's faking it, guys.
But it'll be a temporary thing. She'll probably just come for Jurassic Park, and then
think-
you won't hear from her for ages.
Aaron the pterodactyl will fly her in and then fly her out.
Yeah.
I think Josh will morph back into his alter ego Ellen,
Yeah, I
and
do.
then back to Josh again.
I do that.
I've never seen them in the same room, so
Except for the times that we were. And
Also, ladies and gentlemen, just for those of you that are in the great city of Adelaide, I just want to draw attention to the fact that the other night, and I don't care if this dates the episode, the other night I went and saw Mr. Josh do a show. So
it's
if
Lord
you
Josh.
are,
It was Lord Josh. but-
It's Lord Josh, sorry. Lord Lawyer Josh. Did an improv show. In fact, you know what? Do you want to... I'm giving you the floor
Oh,
to
shit.
spruik your
Everyone get
show.
off, this is my floor. No, it's an improvised show which blends tabletop role-playing games with improvisational theatre. It is called Quest Time, where a quest master, who is me, rolls dice, keeps the world going, and all of the improvised actors improvise the adventure of a role-playing game before your very eyes. We have 2 shows left, and maybe something I can reveal after those shows are done.
sounds
So
right.
it's every Thursday until June the 28th, which is 2 from now, and it's $7:30, $10, and grab a drink, have
Duke
a
of
good
Brunswick.
time.
And the Duke of Brunswick, the amazing venue, they will bring you your food and your drink midway through. It's a gold-class experience. And also, just keep coming back there, because they improv all year there.
Phil, is there anything, if I place the floor under you, is there anything you'd
No, my
like to...
floor.
Yeah, you can fund a movie that Sean and I are going to be in by going to the Indiegogo page for The Groves. If you want to support some little independent cinematic project, we would really, really appreciate it.
All the powerhouses that are Sean and Phil.
And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just Sean.
I'm Sir Phil.
I'm Lord Josh Phil Simpson.
Bye.
I never watched The Saddle Club.
It was good.
The Saddle Club.
Hello,
I've never
world.
even heard of it.
This is me. Life should be fun for everyone.
It was a book
No, it
series
shouldn't.
that got
Some people it should be very bad.
There's a whole bunch of Australian products that no longer need to be advertised, but they're still in store.
Like the Liberal Party.
Like Liberal Party and Yogos.
Prequels.
The only thing
I don't know how, but
the only thing that Star Wars fans hate more than people who don't agree with them is Star Wars.
Is themselves.
yeah.
Star Wars fans hate Star Wars. That's the
Yeah.
whole point. Like, they go through it and they're like, they tear it to shreds, and it's like, this is dumb sci-fi. It's always been dumb sci-fi.
Yeah, that's right. That's
It's fun.
right.
Hello world, this is me. Life should be